Wellness Show, Episode 89.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyson Bannigan, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. So welcome to the Wellness Show, and I'm excited to have Bill Henrich back again on the show. And today we're going to be talking about the true life purpose. So a little bit about Bill. Bill has had a background where he has been looking at self-discovery from many, many different perspectives. And the goal of personal enlightenment has been near and dear to his heart. So he's a certified Feng Shui practitioner. He's coaching for divine purpose coach. He's a numerology instructor. He's a student of tarot, astrology, Bach Flower Remedies, and homeopathy. And in addition, he is a certified coach, professional coach, extraordinary coach, a big money coach, and an instant miracle technique master trainer. So Bill comes back to us with a lot of background in personal development. And it's this background that he has been able to develop the True Life Purpose Now program, which we're going to speak about now. So Bill, welcome back to the show. And what is this True Life Purpose Now all about?
Thanks, Tyson. It's great to be back. True Life Purpose Now is a program that I've developed over my 23 years of personal transformation that I've been in. And in essence, it's sharing the best of the best that I've learned. But one of the greatest things that I learned is I figured out how to crack the Divinity Code, how to unlock it. Now, and we're able to show people their divine gifts. We each have 7 divine gifts. We all have the same 7 gifts, but they're in different proportions. I've done hundreds of these over the last 4 years, and the results are always amazing. But one of the things, the greatest challenges I ran into is we live in the physical. We live in limitation. And because of that, people live in survival. We all do it. We have to. We need food, water, shelter. And when we were born, we were completely trained how to stay in survival. And what I teach with the divine gifts is energy that's available to us from source. So we're using universal energy. As you know, the entire world is made of energy. E equals MC squared. That's been proven scientifically. So this is an energy that's available to us that we don't recognize while we're living in survival. And I've been able to figure out how to crack the code. But more important than that is over the last 4 years, what I've developed is a way to teach this to people so that it would stick and they can use it while we're in the physical. So it's taken me a long time to develop this program to make it stick. I figured it out. I was doing consultations. I was showing people, but it wasn't sticking. I was seeing them 3 or 4 weeks later, and it was like, oh yeah, that was fun. It was like, maybe getting a psychic reading or something like that. Now, people are integrating it into their lives, and their lives are changing drastically, continually, because of the education that they've received and the understanding of who they are as a divine being here in physical form. We don't have a soul. We are a soul. We have a body. And when you understand that, and you understand the difference between surviving and thriving, and utilizing the divine gifts, it changes your world instantly.
Yeah, I agree with that. It certainly changed mine, and it makes your life a lot easier than being able to just show up and be fully present in the moment, allow that divinity to flow through, and you're in the right place at the right time for what other people would call miracles to happen. It becomes almost effortless. But it doesn't mean we have to get out of our own way.
I want to interject something really quickly, okay? We've known each other for 2.5, 3 years, and it's been fantastic to see the changes in your life, how you're really flowing your divinity down. And it's very easy to see because you become more translucent, more transparent. The energy around you is totally different. Like you were struggling with that survival, trying to do the work you're doing. Now you're connected in doing the work. And the view from this side is beautiful, Tyson. It's really beautiful. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an exciting undertaking. And the exciting thing is we can offer this now. And the goal of the program is to reach, well, I know for you, it's literally reaching millions. So this exciting part of it is really taking this further out into the public so people can discover their own divinity, so they can stand in their own truth and deliver it to the world, bring about change and transformation. So that's the exciting part of this. It's literally a movement, but it's a movement from the inner you out into the world in a new way. And what could be better than that?
Yeah, it's amazing. In fact, there have been many challenges in working with this for me and figuring out how to get it landed. And one of the challenges has been getting, tremendous results with people, but not being able to work with enough people at one time. And now we're relaunching the program, True Life Purpose Now, which is my website, truelifepurposenow.com. In fact, we have a new website that'll be up within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I now have just joined up with another group that has a platform for education called You Will Change the World. And I'm in the process of recording videos. So I'm going to be teaching this course through videos, which people will go and take lessons in it and learn. And then they will come to a live coaching call once a week, where it'll be a 2-hour coaching call where we're answering questions about the lessons and helping them integrate it. So we'll have the capacity to handle a lot more people. In fact, I'm doing a class right now with 35 people in it, doing 35 people at one time. And it's working great. My intention is to literally get it up to where we could have 1,000 people in the class. Because once I get the information to them and they understand the foundation of how the universe works and how you work with this energy, then we can handle the questions and help them get it integrated in the live coaching calls. Because this energy, it's like, I like to say it's like we're like radio towers, okay? We send out energy. The universe is nothing but a vibration. And there's nothing but energy in the world. So the purer the energy you're sending out, the stronger your vibration is. And the stronger your vibration is, like attracts like. And that's what creates the synchronicity or miracles, as people call them. That's the only way I live. I only do things when Spirit tells me to do them. I send the energy out, and when it comes in, I can so clearly see that it's something I'm supposed to do. I move just like that, so fast, drastic changes I'll do in an instant. And people are like, how can you do that? It's because I'm reading the energy of it rather than getting caught up in the survival aspect of it. The survival aspect is about limitation. The universe is about expansion. And that's what we teach. And this energy allows you to do that.
So when you're in the survival mode, then you're really trying to figure this all out analytically with your brain.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it gets exhausting, overwhelming. I mean, we come up with strategic plans and marketing, and it becomes overwhelming. And what you're showing is when you show up in your divinity and get out of the way in the sense of letting that divine flow through you, then it takes on a grace and ease. It really is less effort. So what are some of the ways in which you can help people discover that moment? Like you were talking about being in the zone, like on the physical level, this is what athletes talk about, being in the zone.
Yeah.
So how do people get to that?
Well, you need to know where to go.
Exactly.
See, that's the problem, is people are doing meditation, they're doing yoga, there's a huge spiritual revolution going on. But the truth of the matter is, and I say this very kindly with a tremendous amount of compassion, they're lost.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do it, but it's difficult to integrate it into physical form to understand the difference. When you learn about your divine gifts, as we teach people, what happens is you now know where you're going. So what happens is a few things. First of all, once you've worked with us, you'll never make another decision in your life, ever. Because decisions are made from fear, and they're made from your head. When you have an intention for life, when you hold an intention to do something, then you make choices that take you closer to that intention. And so what happens is you end up, you're at a much higher level of responsibility. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with this because we're that powerful. And understanding this power and the ability to just make choices. So when you see something, it's like, I will or I won't do it. It's either taking me closer to my soul or it's taking me away from my soul. Because when you understand your divinity and your divine gifts, we're here to be of service to others, period. End of conversation. We're here to give. And when you're doing that, you're coming from a place of gratitude. You're coming from a place of giving. And you also understand that the universe is perfect. And if we just put that energy into the universe, everything's going to be taken care of. We can get out of that survival mindset. Because when you go into your head, you're going into the past. So what happens is everybody lives in stories that they have all wrapped up, that they've had their whole life. And these stories are stories that they've told themselves so they could survive. Because life is just too confusing. Just crazy stories that really aren't even true. What is true is the feeling beneath them. And that's what puts them into reaction. And so these are things I teach in my course. If I get going, I could go for 8 hours. So, but it's all about the energy that we move.
Yeah, I think that these are important tips. I like tips, at least for people on the wellness show, to understand that, hey, this is not rocket science. There's ways in which I can get started. And number one is, if you're obsessing about something, you're certainly not in your divinity. And number two is, if you don't have gratitude, you're not in your divinity.
Let me give you the best tip they can get.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a 5-star platinum tip. Okay? To show you that you're going in the wrong direction. If you're being defensive, you're coming from ego and you're coming from fear and you're protecting something. Any defensive statements. Oh, you don't understand. Oh, you didn't hear what I said. Well, I've been telling you, but you're not getting it. Or, oh, I didn't do that. Just any defensive statements, okay? Like one of the greatest, here's an interesting defensive statement. When somebody buys a new car, right? Mm-hmm. What do? They go to others and they say, hey, I bought a new car. Do you want to see it? They look at it, they go, wow, that's nice. They say, yeah, well, I wasn't going to buy a car, but this was so nice. And they gave me a great trade-in and it was a great price. And they go into all these defensive statements instead of just saying, yeah, I bought a new car and I love it, right? Mm-hmm. So when we're defensive, we're protecting something. So Tyson, you know this as well as I do. There are only 2 things in the world. There's 2 things. That's it. There's love and there's fear. There's nothing else. Everything either comes from love or it comes from fear. So love needs no defense. It needs no defense. Fear is always in need of defense, because then it's about being right. It's about, did I do the right thing? Do you still love me? Do you still like me? I better say this to make sure that they like me. So just look for defensive statements. and look behind them to what you're protecting, because there's nothing to protect when you come from love. The more love you give, the more you get. It's infinite.
So I get it. And there's so many aspects to it. I think that that's part of why the concept of just showing up and you being you or being authentic is so powerful. There's no excuses and there's no needing to fit in. There's no, how do I correct myself, or did I brush my teeth correctly? You're just showing up being you. And when you do that, then it seems like heaven and earth wants to assist you in you being you, because you're not trying to be something other than you.
Well, heaven does for sure. I don't know about earth, because earth is in physical and it has more to do with survival. So, but heaven, you know, is just the energy from the universe is about expansion. It's about abundance. It's about we are all connected. It's about we are all one. So focusing and understanding that. But the problem is people today are making decisions based upon who they aren't, not who they are. And until you understand who you are,
or who they want to
well, who they think they want to be, but typically when they're who they want to be, that you're going to find that they're moving towards things that are outside them, not from the inside. And we have all these interruptions in life with all these other people around us that are all in survival too. So it's a pretty complicated game that we live in life. And ultimately, everyone is just trying to get to death safely.
With the most toys.
Yeah, they just want to get there safely, right? I mean, think about it. It's like, yeah, I want to make sure that I'm comfortable so that I can just die. You know, I mean, instead of living their purpose. Because when you touch your purpose, the toys, the material things, none of those things matter, as you well know. It's like a whole different ball game.
So one of the other keys you said, you went back to the major hot tip, but one of the other ones that you mentioned really was that this all works because you're in service, that there's something greater than yourself, that you're delivering your divinity, your unique message to the world. And in that, you're going to be supported in that activity. If you're not aligned with that, then you're definitely trying to struggle to figure out who you are and why you're here.
Well, you're not trying to struggle. You're just struggling. You don't even need to try. It just happens automatically. You know, I have a monthly program that I do called Authentic Insights. And it was called the Divine Mastermind, and we're changing the name to Authentic Insights. Every month for 1 hour or 90 minutes, because I always go over, I do a teaching on something, and then those recordings are available. So if somebody wants to get more information about some of these things specifically, if they go to my website, truelifepurposenow.com, they can sign up for the Divine Mastermind or Authentic Insights with whatever's on there. We're redoing the website, so I'm not sure what it says on there today. Probably the Divine Mastermind. They can get free recordings every month. I teach, like this month I taught about how to create and build a spiritual foundation. Because when you understand your spiritual foundation, you need look no further than that. You can forget about everything going on around you. Just look at your foundation and make choices from there. And it really simplifies how to live. So that was the recording that we did this month.
All right, now you got me curious. You know, I can just hear the listener out there. What the heck does he mean by a spiritual foundation? Is he pouring concrete? You know, what's he doing? So say a few words about a spiritual foundation.
Well, when you look at your foundation that you live from, okay, how do you make your choices? Okay.
Yeah.
And if everything's energy, which it is, okay, anything I do, excuse me, anything that I do or any choice I'm making, the first question I always ask myself is this something that I want on my foundation? Okay. In other words, If we talked about your house, you're driving down the street and you see a bag of trash on the side of the street. Are you going to pick that trash up and bring it into your living room? So when you have a spiritual foundation, it's supporting the choices that you make for your soul in the way that you live and the energy that you live in.
Well, that makes better sense to me. So really what you're talking about is choice. Choice in every moment, with every thought, every word, every thing. You have a choice, and you have the choice of what being in your divinity or in your human mind consciousness, which is your shame, your doubt, your fear, your guilt, all the unresolved whatevers, or you can be in your divinity. So what you're helping a client do is to make that correct choice. Like you say, it takes you closer to your divinity or your true nature, or it doesn't. And that's your choice point.
Well, and let me give you an example. Like, I always had extremely low self-esteem, lack of self-worth. So I was always doing things to please other people because I was looking outside of me to get approval, which is what I considered to be love at the time. If people liked me. So I used humor and all these other things. I wasn't myself. I was in pure survival. Now, all my choices come from the inside. The other day, I was leaving an office, walking out the front door. And as I walked past the receptionist, here's what she said to me. Be careful. It's crazy out there. Okay? So in the past, I would have turned around many years ago and said, oh, thanks for the warning, made a joke and walked out. But when I do that, then I'm owning that. I'm owning that it's crazy out there. So what I did this time is I stopped and I turned around and I looked at her and I said, can I ask you a question? She said, sure. I said, what side of town do you live on? She said, I live over on the east side. I said, oh, I came from the west side, and it's as calm and peaceful over there as you could ever imagine. Have a nice day. And I walked out. Because when we agree to these things and own these things, Tyson, we bring them onto our foundation. I don't want to live in a crazy world. That's not my choice. I live in a peaceful, calm world where I'm responsible for the choices that I make.
So what you're saying, if I'm understanding, is another hot tip is that if somebody's telling you something, well, you can't do that, or, that's not going to work, you don't want that on your foundation. So what you're saying is you can immediately correct that with the person in a polite way, or make a decision that, no, that's not my reality. No, I'm not going to buy into it.
And so this is where defensiveness comes in, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Tyson, I think you should, I see you do this. I think you should be doing that, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, hey, you don't understand. And then is it, and this. So, right. So when somebody says that, right, when somebody says that, I would say, wow, I'm great that's like great that works for you. In fact, I'm going to take a look at that because I'm always interested in seeing new things and seeing how they can support my personal growth. I appreciate the tip. Thanks. I currently don't subscribe to that point of view, but that's okay because that's just my choice. It isn't that you're wrong, just my choice. But I'll take a look at it. Thanks. So I haven't owned it. I've been open to it. I don't tell them they're wrong. It's their choice. They're on their spiritual path. But I'm not going to sit there and agree and own it. And of course, where we're really seeing this today is in this presidential election, which I have loved. And I hate politics. But I have loved this because everybody's so transparent. They're so transparent. They're all in fear and they're saying crazy things. It's amazing to see what's happening. It's been so much fun to watch just because of that.
Yeah, it's like the theater of the absurd in the sense that all the masks are off. And so we really see people for where they are and what really is unsettling them. And in that,
let me say something. I want to say something on that, though. I want to say something on that. The theater of the absurd is a good description. But do you know who the most absurd have been? The most absurd have been the Democrats because their apple cart got turned over. And frankly, what they're doing is far worse than anything that Trump and his camp has done, because they're all upset because the gravy train is getting stopped. He's coming in and making changes, and it's all about fear and money and power when you really, really look at it. And the fact of the matter is this: Trump has been elected. He's going to be president. We have an opportunity to step in with love and make changes in our own individual space that will affect the country and the world. That's the truth. Politics, they do their stuff. They do their stuff. There's not much we can do to change politics. But it's really been...
So the real voting is inside of yourself, which is what
oh my gosh, cast your ballot every day.
Yeah, every day, right?
Yeah, from love. They're going to do whatever they do anyway.
Yeah, that's a powerful lesson that hopefully America can step into. I know when I was in India, they always talked about America as the sleeping giant. And, maybe it's time that America this time is actually waking up.
Mm-hmm. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm completely detached from it, right? The people that are upset are attached. You asked for tips before, and you had talked about obsessing. Obsessing is being attached to a certain outcome. The desire and drive and need to have something a certain way. And when you're obsessing or attached to something, you can't see anything else around you because you've got the blinders on. You're just focused on what you want. Where if you're detached, you can make a choice that'll take you closer to your intention and see what's around you and decide whether or not you want to participate in the other things around you, which may or may not be supportive of who we are as spiritual beings.
Well, yeah, I think that's really important. So as you reconfigure this program to reach more people and expand the reach, if I understand you correctly, you have a number of different ways that people can involve. Is it a weekly or is it a monthly webinar?
Good question. What we're actually doing is I have just joined, I'm putting all of my teachings on a website platform called You Will Change the World. And I will have them all up there by the end of the year. In fact, when they're up there, the next time I come on, I'll let everybody know. I'll have a free course everybody will be able to go in and take. And I'll have all of my programs on there. So we'll be able to touch many more people, and we'll be able to handle thousands of people taking the program because they've got a platform that can support that kind of volume. So I'm going to be out teaching Life Purpose Now program, which will be on that platform. And then what they'll do is go through those video courses on their own and come to a weekly coaching session. And in that coaching session, we won't have to teach as much. We'll be answering questions and we'll be reinforcing what they've learned.
Oh, that sounds good. So there's many ways to get involved. And so how do people get hold of you? Well,
the best way, two ways to get a hold of me. One, again, go to the website. On the website, I have a great report called The 7 Saboteurs that they can get. They can sign up for my Authentic Insights / Divine Mastermind. Or if they want to contact me directly, my email is thedivinepurposeguy@gmail.com. The Divine Purpose Guy, GUY, @gmail.com is the way to get a hold of me directly.
And you've just done a book too. So how do people find out about your book?
I'm going to be publishing it. Actually, I've got 2 books done, and I'm actually in the process now of creating another one on spiritual foundations. So that'll be published and out. The best thing to do with all the changes we're going through in the re-engineering and redesigning of everything we're doing, the simplest thing for people to do would be to go to the website, truelifepurposenow.com, sign up for one of my programs like the Divine Mastermind or the 7 Saboteurs report. and then we'll keep them updated with everything as we're releasing it here in the last quarter of this year.
All right, we got just under a minute to go. So what would you like to leave people with?
What I would like them to know is that there is something that we've all come here to do, and we have our own unique gift to share with the world. And my commitment to all of your audience and to anyone that comes in contact with us at True Life Purpose Now is to make sure that they understand what that is, they understand how to access it, they understand how to express it, and they understand how to really create a legacy and make a difference by being their divine selves and get out of survival. Leave surviving, get into thriving, and you'll make massive changes in your corner of the world. We don't have to change the whole world. We each just have to change a little piece of it.
Bill, it's been a pleasure. And I know we're going to have you back. We're going to do a series in the new year. So once again, thanks for being on the show and providing so much insight and hot tips to the listeners. And we'll catch you next time around. So thank you.
Thanks, Tyson.
Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.